All right, let's take a look at this in practice. So we'll create a list of T from a data reader. So this is the second example called generic list. And when we click on it, as you can see, it now fills up this grid here with all of the data from our product table. Let's go ahead and close this and we'll take a look at this code. Now the code is exactly the same here. We use a SQL connection and a SQL command and we open. Notice I've got a products.clear there on line 75. If we take a look at this here and we go up to the top, you see that I've created a generic list. Now I'm using WPF, so I've used an observable collection. That's the same as list product, just allows us to observe that collection in case anything changes. So we clear that. Next, we have the bulk of what we're doing. So down here on line 85, we create our data reader. We then start looping through using the while dr.read. We do a products.add, creating a new product each time for each record. So when I create the new product, I can now, in the curly braces, assign each one of the properties in my product class to the results from the data reader. So here you can see the code that I showed you in the slide, dr.getInt32, using dr.getOrdinal product ID. Then on line 90, we get the product name. On line 91, we get the introduction date. 92, we get the URL. 93, we get the price. Now, the last two fields here, I've got to check for the null because these are nullable fields. So retire date and product category ID. Let's take a look at these. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to my product class. And you can see that those two are set up as nullable fields. Retire date is a nullable date time. Product category ID as a nullable integer. So if you have those nullable fields, you do need to use the dr.isDbNull, passing in the retire date. Okay, and if it is null, then return a null of that data type. So in this case, date time question mark. Otherwise, return the actual value in the field. So in this case, I'm going to grab retire date and convert it to a date and time. On line 98 through 100 there, I'm doing the same thing with the product category ID, checking to see if it's null. If it is, I cast a null as a nullable integer, and that's what gets returned into product category ID. Otherwise, I grab the value from product category ID, convert it to an int32, and place that into the property. At the end of all of this, we end up with our products collection that we can then bind to our UI.